Good Yom Tov, everybody. Gmar Chatima Tova. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is David Youngman, and I am the Congregational President. And I welcome everybody to our Kol Nidre worship service. I also would like to welcome our streaming audience around the world. While I am making this announcement, this would be a good time to turn off or silence your cell phones and electronic devices. The beautiful flowers, arrangements, and the ferns adorning the bima have been donated by Ted and Noel Singer and Inga Spiegel. I want to welcome the cellist. I believe her name is Diana Parmeter, and she's sponsored by Sandra Pascas. This evening, we are honoring the Temple Board of Directors. Some are on the bima, and some with their families sitting with the congregation. I want them to stand when I call their name. This is the leadership of our congregation. Vice President of Religion is Dina Jastroch. Second Vice President of Membership is Florence Bornstein. Third Vice President of Education and Youth is Jody Green and Dana Porter. They're if you could just stand. Thank you. Recording Secretary is Brad Kramer. Our Treasurer is Dina Berglas-Hess, and she's in New York, but she's with us in spirit. Our Financial Secretary, Skartz Vern. Is he here? Ways and Means, Leslie Berger. House is Sherry Held. Intercommunity Relations is Sharon Kravitz. Adult Education is Victoria Jacobs and Joyce Kessler. They're co-chairing this. Communications and Publicity is Suzanne Carey. And Brotherhood President is David Sain. Also, we have our immediate past president, Steve Wiesel. Please stand. I am very thankful for your work ethic, the meeting you attend, and the time you spend away from your home and families. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the leadership of your temple. Believe it or not, everything runs smoothly because of this team of people that are standing in front of you. Thank you. A huge thank you for the Religious Committee Chair, Dina Jastroch, House Chair, Sherry Held, Membership Chair, Flo Bornstein, and their committees for all the hard work and attention to details in preparing for the high holidays. I would like to thank the board members and volunteers who were our greeters, ticket guest registration, and high holiday book stations tonight. Once again, thank you to Chris Jastroch and his ushering crew. Our office manager, Deneen Dyson, has been an incredible team player, making sure everything in our office is completed on time for the high holidays, and for participating in our high holiday choir. On Rosh Hashanah, the high holiday choir created a very spiritual feeling. We appreciate all the rehearsals that you attended for the high holiday services. Our high holiday choir is under the direction of Dr. Ray Irwin. A huge thank you to our shofar blowers, Ellie Ursus and Matthew Hum. A big thank you to Phil Carey and the crew for streaming tonight's service so that those who cannot be with us in person can enjoy our service from their homes. Special thank you to Dr. Ray Irwin for arranging a number of our musical selections and skillfully playing on the clavinova. Cantor Ariel Goldfarb, you beautifully chanted the high holiday melodies on Rosh Hashanah, uplifting the congregation. We appreciate all your hard work and contributions to our high holiday services. And Rabbi Goldfarb, we are all grateful for the things you do, not just at high holidays, but all year long. You're never willing to settle for the status quo. We all thank you for the many things you do for the benefit of Temple Beth Ohr. Tomorrow morning services begin with children and family worship at 9 a.m. Morning service begins at 10 a.m. Study session is at 1 p.m. Afternoon service begins at 2:30 p.m. with Iskor and Elah worship service beginning at 4:30 p.m. What's the topic? Do we know for tomorrow's 1 o'clock? Gratitude. Please do not forget the food drive. Bring non-perishable food items. For those who parked in the church across the street, please make sure to use the crosswalks when crossing the street. Some great events coming up. Monday, September 23rd at 9:30, we need help erecting the sukkah. And we're going to have two sukkah, one outside and one inside. So we need Sunday, September 23rd at 9:30. Please come and help. Wednesday, September 26th at 6:30 p.m., Brotherhood and Sisterhood is having a social in the sukkah. Please come and enjoy. We have wine, cheese, and hors d'oeuvres. On Friday, September 28th at 6:30 p.m., we're going to have a Sukkot dinner, and this time we'll try something new. Everybody brings their own dinner, followed by Simchat Torah service at 7:30 p.m. And then, of course, Sunday, this is my favorite thing, Sunday, October 17th at 11 a.m., we're going to have the pet blessings, right? At 11:30. This year, we set our high holiday appeals goal at $54,000. 3 highs. We had many expenses last year. A new roof, new kitchen counters, new floors, beautifying the foyer, and of course, the new men's urinal. We need to replenish our reserves and to raise more funds to continue bringing our We need to replenish our reserves and to raise more funds to continue bringing our facility up to modern standards. Our high holiday appeal stands at not even half our goal at this point. I plead with you. We need to raise the funds. We want to be here and for us and for future generations. And some of the things that we've done, you see in front of you. Some of the things that I think we still need to do is the social hall and improve classrooms so that our children and us feel better at our temple. I feel that this temple is an extension of my home, and I'd like to have our social hall be brought up to standards. Please help us. It's very important. On Rosh Hashanah, we said, V'tshuva utfila utzadaka ma'virin et roa hagazra. But through return to the right path, through prayer and righteous giving, we can transcend the harshness of the decree. Please exercise tzedakah, righteous giving, and help our congregation endure. My fellow congregates, this is our Jewish experience. With your help, we can make it the best. Temple Beth Ohr is the path to make the world a better place. Karen and I wish you a very happy, healthy 5,779 and an easy fast. Gmar Chatima Tova.
light is sown for the righteous and for those whose hearts rejoice. We gather on this Yom Kippur Eve. Into this new year, we come into the light of this sanctuary, the light of this holiday, to stand in a way exposed, to look at our lives with that very light, the light of righteousness and the light of rejoicing. We come to this day to commemorate our deeds from the past year, to learn from our mistakes. Most importantly, we come because as human beings, we are able to grow and to change. That is our blessing. That is our curse. We cannot blame the devil for our deeds. We cannot look to someone else and say, well, you made me do this. Because Judaism teaches us that we are endowed with free will. And we make our choices. Tonight, on this night, we hold ourselves accountable, as we have held others accountable during the year, as we have held our government accountable, as we have held our friends and our family accountable. Tonight is our night to stand in the light of righteousness and to hold ourselves accountable. But let us not look at this day with too much dread, for many of our deeds this past year have been quite good and praiseworthy. Let us celebrate those. Oziv, Azimrat Yah. Let us look at those deeds and let us praise God for the good things that we have done, and let us be proud of them. But as Judaism teaches, let us not let that pride go to our heads. None of us are perfect. That is also our blessing and our curse. I am not perfect. You are not perfect. We are not perfect. But we can strive for that perfection. And so let us take strength. Let us take strength from our past deeds. Let us praise our successes. Let us learn from our mistakes. Ozi, V'zimrat Yah. Let us be grateful to the source of life that we have the opportunities to grow and to change and to become more than what we were.
Ozi, V'zimrat Yah, Vayehi li lishua. 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 Ozi, V'zimrat Yah, Vayehi li lishua.
We continue our worship service on page 6 as we prepare for the lighting of our Yom Tov candles. I invite Deborah Goldfarb to join us on the bima to lead us in this reading and the blessing over our Yom Tov candles.
What an extraordinary gift it is. What a blessing. What a miracle to have been raised by imperfect parents who did their very best. To share our life with a partner no more flawed than we are. To count as a friend one who understands and accepts us most of the time. How brave, how hard it is to be good enough in our ties to one another, to give, even when we're exhausted, to love faithfully, to receive with grace the love imperfectly offered to us. Can this night set us free from the tyranny of expectations? Can this night release us from fantasies impossible to fulfill? We resolve this night to embrace the practice of forgiveness, to forgive others who fail, to be all we hoped they would be, to forgive ourselves when we fall short of what others hoped we would be. We declare this night that we will cherish goodness wherever it is found and open ourselves to the gifts that are before us. We continue on page 9. We read responsively. The human spirit is the lamp of God, searching out what lies within us.
Guided by the flame of conscience, on this sacred night, we search for truth.
Shine your light upon us as we strive to serve you. May we find safety in your faithful love. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Yom HaKippurim. Source of blessing, eternal our God, you fill the universe with majestic might, teaching us holiness through sacred obligations, giving us the mitzvah of bringing light on Yom Kippur.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik
As we gather on this most sacred night, we are grateful to the source of life, for giving us life, for sustaining us, for enabling us to travel this past year on all of our challenges, on all of our paths, and yet to be able to come here on this night together as a family, as a community. We are grateful for God for sustaining us and enabling us to reach this beautiful evening.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
We continue on page 10 and 11, and I invite you to pick one of these meditations to read silently to yourselves. Our service continues on page 14. Yom Kippur, the Jewish people's festival of the soul, and Kol Nidre, its sacred portal, a night of deep emotions. A night, as the psalmist wrote, to rejoice with trembling. We rejoice at the sound of Kol Nidre that we are about to hear. Rhythmic words of release from vows, oaths, and promises to God that we failed to keep. We tremble at the melody. Music for spiritual amazement, it fills us with awe as we stand before God and Torah. We rejoice that we stand together, strengthened by community in this hour of shared weakness and humility. We tremble, for tonight we confess our flaws, admit our imperfections, and acknowledge a power far beyond our understanding. We rejoice that we commit ourselves to great endeavors because we feel so deeply and we think so nobly. We tremble, for we find that our ideals are far greater than our ability, and often our promises surpass our might. We rejoice in the freedom that is Kol Nidre's true gift, the freedom to begin a new year without fear of failure, to aspire to be God's image in the world around us. We tremble tonight because we are mortal, and we rejoice in our gratitude for life. We rejoice, as the psalmist wrote, with trembling, and enter Kol Nidre to face our humanity. I'd like to invite David Youngman, Sharon Kravitz, and Steve Weissel to join us on the bima as we bring the Torahs out in preparation for the Kol Nidre. As they make their way forward, I invite us to rise as we are able. Kol Nidre, a chant that begins in a whisper and rises to a cry. On this night of promises remembered, each soul in solitude communes with the soul of the universe. God, from this day of atonement to the next, may we reach it in peace. All Israel makes these vows to turn from wrong, dishonesty, and greed, to walk in the path of justice and right. Yet we know our weaknesses, how prone we are to fail. Help us, O God, to keep our word. Help us to act with humility and integrity. We seek pardon and forgiveness. We seek your radiance and your light. Our service continues on page 18. Our service continues on page 21. I bow, I face the ground. I fall before the Most High. Farther than heaven's heaven are you nearer to me than the flesh on my bones. What have I to offer you but my spirit? How shall I lift my eyes to you? How can my tongue give you praise? We read together. The signs of your love are countless, as are my sins, more numerous than the sands of the sea. So guide me toward the right path. My teacher, my keeper of faith, source of all that I know. When my heart speaks, I hear the words myself, and you may hear me too. Service continues on page 22 as we continue with the Baruch Hu, our call to worship. We may be seated. Our service continues on page 24.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bidbarach ma'ariv arvim. V'hokma poteach sharim, uvitbuna mashine itim. Umahalif et hazmanim, seder et hakokavim. V'mishrotehem barakia kurtzanu. Borei yom v'layla, gulei or mipnei hoshe, v'hoshe mipnei or. Umavir yom umevi layla, umavdil bein yom ubein layla, Adonai tzvaot shmo. Elkai v'kayam, tamid yimlo, aleinu v'alko, lo aleinu lam vayet. Baruch atah Adonai, hamariv arvi. Our service continues on page 27. We pause in reverence before the gift of self, The vessel shatters, the divine spark shines through, and our solitary self becomes a link in Israel's golden chain. For what we are by sharing, and as we share, we move toward the light. We pause in reverence before the mystery of a presence, the near and far reality of God. Not union, but communion is our aim, and we approach the mystery with deeds. Words lead us to the edge of action, but it is the deeds that bring us closer to the God of light. We pause in terror before the human deed, the cloud of annihilation, the concentrations for death, the cruelly casual way of each to each. But in the stillness of this hour, we find our way from darkness into light. May we find our life so precious that we cannot but share it with the other. That light may shine brighter than 1,000 suns with the presence among us of the God of light.
Let us rise as we are able, as we continue on the next page with the watchword of our faith. We may be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, וחיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושינתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, וחיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. We continue on page 39 as we read responsively. Our sages taught it is proper to mention the exodus from Egypt in our morning prayers and also at night.
We celebrate the going out from Egypt in the morning light, full of confidence and vigor as we
But in the evening, weary from the day's exertions, cast down and fearful at the coming of the night, what can the Exodus teach us then?
Our nighttime prayer brings hope and trust in the future. As God did not abandon our people long ago through the long, dark night of exile, so the Holy One will be with us in time to come, to stand by the one you love. That is the true essence of faithfulness, the meaning of emunah.
So it is written in the Psalms, to proclaim your kindness in the morning and your faithfulness in the nights. Sing with joy in the mornings of your life, when lights surround you and the world seems beautiful and good, and in the evenings of your life, when you dwell in sorrow and the world seems dark, do not despair.
Our service continues on page 43. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting for their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Our service continues on page 45. Ki v'yom hazeh yichaper alechem lataher etchem, for on this day atonement shall be made for you to purify you from all your wrongs, and pure you shall be in the presence of Adonai.
Gadol ve'yit kadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach yirutei ve'yamlich malchutei b'chaychon v'yom echon v'chayidcho beit Yisrael Bagala uvizeman kariv ve'imeru
Amen. Yeshemen Rabba Bevara, Le'olam u'lamed alayaya,
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitomam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei tekudashah le'ila u'le'ila min kol birchata v'shirata.
Our service continues on page 46. I invite us to rise as we are able to continue with our tefillah. Page 48.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah v'Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekonei Hakol Vezocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem Lema'an Shemo B'Yahava Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah.
Our service continues on page 50. Your life-giving power is forever, Adonai, with us in life and in death. You liberate and save, cause dew to descend, and with mercy abundant, lovingly nurture all life. From life to death, you are the force that flows without end. You support the falling, heal the sick, free the imprisoned and confined. You are faithful even to those who rest in the dust. We read together. Power beyond power, from whom salvation springs. Sovereign over life and death, who is like you? Merciful God, who compares with you? With tender compassion, you remember all creatures for life. Faithfully and true, worthy of our trust, you sustain our immortal yearnings. In you we place our undying hopes. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol, wellspring of blessing, power eternal. You are the one who gives and renews all life. We continue on page 53. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehalalucha sela. You are holy, your name is holy, and seekers of holiness praise you day by day. Selah. We may be seated. Worship service continues on page 61.
Today, the Jewish mission is not diminished in a world that still cries out for healing, where suffering and narrowness are endemic. To be chosen means to have a special calling to teach that all human beings are children of God, created in God's image, and must be treated sacred. The Judaism as a small nation is no bar to this task. Many of the nations that have changed the world have been small. The Athens of Socrates and Plato, the England of Queen Elizabeth and Shakespeare, the America of Washington and Jefferson. No nation, great or small, has touched humanity more deeply than the tiny nation of Isaiah and Jeremiah. Chosenness is not a privilege to boast of, but a task to be undertaken. It is to keep constantly in the mind of the words of the prophet Micah. It has been told you, O mortal, what is good and what the eternal requires of you. Only this do you justly and love mercy and walk humbly with your God. We continue on page 65. The sages and the prophets did not yearn for the messianic time in order to have dominion over the entire world, to rule over Gentiles, to be exalted by the nations, or to eat, drink, and celebrate. Rather, they desired to be free from oppression or disturbance, so they might immerse themselves in Torah and wisdom, and thus merit the world to come. In that era, there will be neither famine nor war, envy nor competition, for goodness will flow in abundance, and all delights will be freely available as dust of the earth. The entire world will be occupied solely in seeking to know God. As Scripture says, the earth shall be full of knowledge of God as water covers the sea. Let this be my prayer for the personal redemption, uninterrupted time to breathe and think, time to ask myself the purpose of all my frantic strivings, time to bask in the radiance of what is. Our service continues on page 71. We read responsively, "On this night of atonement, grant us, God, a sense of your presence as we call upon your name. Speak your hopeless message to each yearning heart and to the burning repentance of each soul. Purify and strengthen our noble strivings and cleanse us of all our unworthy desires. Grant us the joy which comes from reaching everlasting. Help us to be loyal to the heritage we share. Draw us near to Torah in wisdom and in faith. Bless us with hope to uplift our daily lives and keep steadfast our courage and our resolve at all times. On this night of atonement, help us to be worthy of your presence as we call you.
Israel,
Prayer is for the soul what food is for the body. The strength we get from one meal lasts until the next. So too, the blessings of a prayer last until we pray again. The longer the pause between one prayer and the next, the more we're mired in worldly pursuits, in words that dim the purity of the soul, in speech that dulls its brightness. When we pray, we wash away all that clouds our vision and satisfies our spirit's hunger for a higher calling. Prayer gives the soul what food gives the body. We continue on page 75. It doesn't have to be the blue iris. It could be weeds in a vacant lot or a few small stones. Just pay attention. Then patch a few words together and don't try to make them elaborate. This isn't a contest, but a doorway into thanks and a silence in which another voice may speak. Our service continues on page 77. The words I say today I did not request of you. I saw landscapes not borrowed from you. The bus to the north went more and more distant from Jerusalem. And even so I was in the courtyard of your holiness, and I dozed on the garden bench, and all the words that I said were your name, and all the landscapes I saw, its interpretation. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimka olka na'adeh la'adot. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose goodness deserves thanks and praise.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael, Tasim Le'olam.
Ki ata hu melech Adon, lechol hashalom hashalom. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha, levarech et amcha Yisrael. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael, Tasim Le'olam.
Ki ata hu melech Adon, lechol hashalom hashalom. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha, levarech et amcha Yisrael. Bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. ברוך אתה אדוני
Just as we pray for peace for our very troubled world, so too do we want to include those whose peace, whose shalom, whose sense of wholeness has been perhaps disturbed, even shattered by the challenges that they are facing. In the moment, our cantor will lead us in our prayers for that healing, that wholeness, the Mishaberach. And I invite you in just a moment to share aloud the name of a loved one who is in need of that shalom, that return to wholeness, so that we might bring them here into this space, into our hearts at this time. May all those who are facing challenges to their health and their well-being be blessed on their journey, a journey that will bring them to a refuah shlema. Baruch atah Adonai rofei hacholim. We praise you, O God, who helps us bring hope and healing to those who are in need. And let us say, Amen. We come to that special part of our worship service where we are no longer asked to read words we did not write, to sing melodies that we did not compose. Instead, to spend some time with words and with melodies that are our own, the words of our hearts, the melodies of our souls, to bring us into this time of quietude and reflection. I share this thought. My simple prayer is that in all things I learn to love well, that I learn to touch the ever-changing seasons of life with a great heart of compassion, that I live with the peace and justice I wish for the earth, that I learn to care fully and to let go gracefully, that I enjoy the abundance of the earth and return to it from the natural generosity that is our human birthright, that through my own life, through joy, through sorrow, in thought, in word, and in deed, I bring benefit and blessings to all that lives, that my heart and the hearts of all beings learn to be free. And so we pause.
May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, be acceptable, O Adonai, my rock, my redeemer. Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Adonai, my rock and my
Our service continues on page 83. Page 83. When I was young and learned the alphabet, life was open to me. A was full of aspiration, B was for beauty, C for confidence, and D for dreams. And so on through the list. no fewer than 26 opportunities, 26 possibilities. And yet I fear that with the passage of time, I have squandered them, creating instead A's of apathy, B's of brusqueness, C's of coarseness. Help me then. Help me to return to that innocence. Let the letters be letters once again, and let them rise to the heavens and form into the words that you know I wish to say. On page 82, Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu v'imotenu tavo lefanecha tefilatenu. Our God and God of all generations, may our prayers reach your presence. And when we turn to you, do not be indifferent. Adonai, we are arrogant and we are stubborn, claiming to be blameless and free of sin. In truth, we have stumbled, we have strayed, we have done wrong. I invite us to rise as we are able, as we continue with an alphabetical acrostic, a start for us, an opportunity for us to look at our lives in the light of sacredness, in the light of holiness, in the light of righteousness, and find ways to strive to do better. We read together at the bottom of the page, of these wrongs we are guilty. We betray, we steal, we scorn, we act perversely. We are cruel, we scheme, we are violent. We slander, we devise evil. We lie, we ridicule, we disobey. We abuse, we defy, we corrupt. We commit crimes, we are hostile. We are stubborn, we are immoral. We kill, we spoil, we go astray, we lead others astray.
Ay, 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 Ashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazanu, Dibarnu Dofi, ay, 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 Hevinu, Vehirshanu, Zadnu, Kamasnu, Tafanu Shaker, ay, ay, Latnu, Ta'inu.
Ta'inu.
Titanu.
Titanu.
We may be seated. Our service continues on page 89. As we read responsively. We wrong you when we wrong ourselves. For our failures of integrity, Adonai, we seek forgiveness. For succumbing in silence to social pressure and for acquiescing in beliefs we find offensive. For pretending to emotions that we do not feel and for appearing to be other than what we truly are. We dishonor you when we dishonor our society. For our failures of justice, Adonai, we seek forgiveness. For abuse of power in boardrooms, courtrooms, and classrooms, and for accepting the neglect of children and elders, the ill and the weak. For glorifying violence and turning hastily to war, and for allowing history to repeat itself. We continue on page 91. We sin against you when we hurt one another. For our failures of love, Adonai, we seek forgiveness. For withholding affection from those we claim to love, and for using love to control our spouses, our partners, our children, and our parents. For abandoning friends and siblings who love us, sustain us, and for neglecting those who love us when they need us most. For harboring in our relationships mistrust, boredom, and disloyalty, and for rejecting our partner's efforts at repair and renewal. For possessiveness, jealousy, and avarice. Who among us is blameless? Who of us can say, I have not erred, I have not wronged, I have not sinned? We abuse, we brutalize, we covet. We deceive, we enslave, we feud. We gossip, we humiliate, we injure, we judge unfairly. We kill, we lie, we manipulate. We neglect, we ostracize, we plagiarize, we quarrel. We rage, we shame, we turn away, we undermine. We vilify, we waste, we exploit the earth. We yearn too much for yesterday and too easily forget Zion. Indeed, our sins are an alphabet of woe. Help us, Holy One, to follow your ways of integrity, justice, and love. Teach us to seek forgiveness with humility and an open heart. For all these wrongs, O God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, help us to pardon ourselves, and lead us to atonement.
Oh
We continue on page 93. God, our Creator and our Guide, let us speak now of the healing acts by which we bring you into the world, the acts of repair that make you a living presence in our lives. Ala tikun shetikenu lefanecha. For the act of healing we have done openly or anonymously, and for the act of repair we have done without personal gain. Ala tikun shetikenu lefanecha. For the act of healing we have done by seeking forgiveness, and for the act of repair we have done by forgiving others. Ala tikun shetikenu lefanecha. For the act of healing we have done through righteous giving, and for the act of repair we have done by opening our hearts. Ala tikun shetikenu lefanecha. For the act of healing we have done by comforting the mourner and visiting the sick, and for the act of repair we have done by pursuing justice and human rights, fairness and civility. Ala tikun shetikenu lefanecha. For the act of healing we have done by comforting. For the act of healing we have done by making peace between one person and another, and for the act of repair we have done by protecting nature and all of its creatures. Ala tikun shetikenu lefanecha. For the act of healing we have done by teaching our children the ways of peace, and for the act of repair we have done by teaching our children the ways of Torah. Ala tikun shetikenu lefanecha. For the act of healing we have done by honoring elders and loving the stranger, and for the act of repair we have done in response to your commandment, choose life and blessing. Va'al kulam. And all these bring nearer the day when you shall be one, and your name shall be one. We continue on page 99. Will you hear my voice, you who are far from me? Will you hear my voice wherever you are? A voice calling aloud, a voice silently weeping, endlessly demanding a blessing. This busy world is vast. Its ways are many. Paths meet for a moment, then seem to part forever. We go on searching, but our feet stumble. We cannot find that which we have lost. We read together. Perhaps my last day is already drawing near. Drawing close are the tears of parting. I will wait for you till my day flickers out, like Rachel waiting for her beloved.
Alleluia.
Our service continues on page 109. When men were children, they thought of God as a father. When men were slaves, they thought of God as a master. When men were subjects, they thought of God as a king. But I am a woman, not a slave, not a subject, not a child who longs for God as father or mother. I might imagine God as teacher or as friend, but those images like king, master, father, or mother are too small for me now. God is the force of motion and light in the universe. God is the strength of life on our planet. God is the power moving us to do good. God is the source of love springing up in us. God is far beyond what we can comprehend. Our service continues on page 112. As I invite us to rise as we are able. Avinu Malkenu illumined for us the path of life. We read together. Avinu Malkenu, how shall we find the strength to take the road less traveled by? Avinu Malkenu, how shall we come to know the purpose of our existence? Avinu Malkenu, how shall we learn not to live life in vain? Avinu Malkenu, how shall we get out of our indifference? Avinu Malkenu, how shall we distinguish between truth and falsehood? Avinu Malkenu, how shall we find the answers to our questions? Avinu Malkenu, how shall we gird ourselves with strength and seek answers? Avinu Malkenu, be gracious to us, answer us, empower us, and give us courage, for the answers are both in you and with you. We continue on page 114.
Avinu Malkenu, Shema Koleinu. Avinu Malkenu, Chatanu lefanecha. Avinu Malkenu, Chamol aleinu, ve'alol aleinu, ve'tapeinu. Avinu Malkenu, Kol Nidre, Erev Yom Kippur, Avinu Malkenu, Galech Otzar, Umastin, Me'aleinu. Avinu Malkenu, Kaddish
continue responsively on page 115. Avinu Malkenu na al tashivenu rekam milfanecha. Avinu Malkenu kabel barachamim uvratzon et tefilatenu. Avinu Malkenu aseh imanu lema'an shemecha. Avinu Malkenu aseh lema'an chai im lo lema'amenu. Avinu Malkenu ein lanu melech eli ata. Avinu Malkenu patach sha'arei shamayim litfilatenu. Avinu Malkenu shma kolenu chus v'rachem alenu. Avinu Malkenu chonenu va'anenu ki ein banu ma'asim aseh imanu tzedaka v'chesed v'hoshienu.
Avinu Malkenu, Chonenu Vanenu. Avinu Malkenu, Chonenu Vanenu, Ki ein banu ma'asim, Aseh imanu, Tzedaka v'chesed, Aseh imanu, Tzedaka v'chesed, ve'hoshienu. Avinu Malkenu, Chonenu Vanenu. Avinu Malkenu, Chonenu Vanenu, Ki ein banu ma'asim.
We may be seated. No, it's not to do. To our choir and our cellist this evening, Diana, thank you. Diane, sorry. Thank you for being with us, for the beautiful music. Sorry, Susan, there you are, back in the corner. Dr. Irwin, thank you very, very much. Cantor, as always, it is a pleasure to share the bima with you. And the Kol Nidre was absolutely beautiful. Spot on. Spot on. Thank you, Phil, for streaming us out to the world in all of its glory. Thank you all for being with us tonight, here locally and out in the ether sphere. And to members of our board who are here on the Bima and those seated in the congregation, I thank you for stepping up and helping to lead our congregation and to share in the leadership and to be partners. It's been great, and I look forward to our continued year. The past 3 months for our family brought a number of unexpected and surprising changes. I have heard of this happening. I didn't think it would ever end up happening to me, but we unexpectedly sold our home. Yes, how do you unexpectedly sell a home? Well, we remodeled 2 years ago, knowing that at some future time we might, but let's do it now so we can enjoy it. And we were. It was a lot of fun. Really nice kitchen appliances, very beautiful bathrooms, lovely flooring, lovely paint and colors. And then we got a knock on the door with an agent who had some clients who wanted to buy in our condominium complex. We had a townhouse. Would we be interested in selling? Oh, well, and by the way, we want to close in a month. Okay, sure, why not? What the hey? And so we did. And then began the wonderful adventure of packing. Previously, it just happened to work out in our professions that we moved every 5 years. Contract was up, a new opportunity presented itself, going back to school for a graduate degree, whatever, there was an opportunity. So every 5 years, you did a natural culling of all the items that you had collected. And 5 years is really kind of a good time. That's a good span of time. Because 13 years was far too long. Some of the stuff, I swear, must have bred, because I don't remember us ever having that much stuff. And as we were pulling stuff out and looking at it, it was like, where did this come from? How did we end up with this thing? And oh my God, is this hideous? What is this? Why did we ever get this? Why did we ever buy this? Why do we still have it? So needless to say, in preparation for the big moving day, there were multiple trips to Goodwill, Habitat for Humanity, and the dumpster. And the dumpster. And the dumpster. And again the dumpster. But also Goodwill and Habitat for Humanity. 13 years is a very long time to have collected all of that stuff. And so, having unloaded that stuff and prepared for the moving day, now of course moving day comes, and then you got to box it all up. And then you've got to get to the new place and unload it there and do something with all of those boxes. So a lot of change going on in the Goldfarb household. By the way, we did find a new place. I'm living in La Mirada, literally just like almost a mile from here. It's a 17-minute walk. But no, I drove today. And as we thinned out the herd and as we culled everything, you just kind of wonder where all that stuff kind of come from and how you accumulate all that stuff over all that time. And I don't know if you can tell in my lovely form-fitting robe, but I've experienced a really interesting change over the last several months. I've lost 20 pounds. Yes, thank you. My clothes are a little on the baggy side nowadays. I was inspired by my wife, Deborah, who started spinning, was that 5 years ago, Deborah? In preparation for a hike up Mount Whitney. She started spin class. And I tried it off and on for a bit because I would try it in the evening and, meetings and evening, who wants to go? No, thank you. And then in November, started in the morning, and that worked out very well. But then when we moved from Seal Beach, which was very close to the Alpert JCC where the spin class was, out to La Mirada a lot farther, I was fearful that I was not going to do the drive. So I bought a spin bike and have continued the spinning, although the stresses of the last couple of weeks, I've put on a few more pounds. But I'm continuing the spin 3 days a week. Grunting and groaning. Mandy, the dog, comes in sometimes fearful that something's happened. But it's just me spinning on the bike and grunting and groaning. I was known as the noisiest spin class person in the spin class. Indeed, several people would often look at me like, do we need to call? No, I'm fine. It's just, what you got to do. And so as we come to Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, I'm thinking, there's lessons in this experience for me and for us all. Lessons for us as we come in to Yom Kippur, lessons as we have begun this new year. The first lesson, we must constantly declutter. Spring cleaning, by the way, is absolutely a must. Absolutely a must. Once a year, we have got to go through the stuff in our homes and find useful purposes for those things that are living in boxes. As I walk Mandy in our neighborhood, I am surprised at how many garages are full. And I notice they're full because people are walking out of their house to get into their cars, or they will walk through the garage and the garage door is up and I can look at all the boxes. So we must declutter on an annual basis. And I think Yom Kippur is exactly that wonderful declutter time. Because it's not only the stuff that we keep in boxes in our garage and in our attics. It's the stuff that we have boxed away in our minds and in our brains. These are the things we must also declutter. But we can't just come to Yom Kippur expecting Yom Kippur to do it for us. If we had waited until the movers came on moving day before doing any of that, we would still be in Seal Beach. Because it doesn't work that way. We have to prepare for this. And so we have to prepare for this. We can't start on Rosh Hashanah. We certainly cannot start on Yom Kippur. If we are expecting Yom Kippur to change us, then we have to do the work that Yom Kippur asks of us. That's the only way this day will change us. And in order for that to happen, we had to start several months ago. But it's not too late, because we can start now. We can start now. Because although we have this Yom Kippur, this is not the only day that we can do this. We did not have to declutter our house in preparation for the movers. We really could have done that throughout the entire year. We could have looked at things at any time, but we stow it away and then it's forgotten until you find it again. Kind of like some of the stuff we put up here. You know, some of those painful memories, some of those hurtful things, we stow them away, and then when we least expect it, boom, there they are jumping out at us. And by the way, while it's been sitting in there, it's been breeding, okay? Just like the stuff in our boxes. It has been growing and breeding and connecting all kinds of things together that we don't want to have connected together. That's something we can do on Yom Kippur. We can start looking at the clutter in our minds and in our hearts, and we can start decluttering now. Now's the time to get rid of that stuff. Drop it off at Goodwill. Better yet, leave it right here in this sanctuary. This is a perfect spot for it. Just leave it here. We'll take good care of it, I promise. People are always dropping things off to us here at the temple, and we find good places for them. You never know when opportunity is going to knock. We were not planning to sell. Really, a couple more years would have been a little more comfortable, but then we would have missed out on where we are now and the opportunity to declutter our lives 2 years earlier. And so you never know when opportunity is going to knock. And so you always have to be ready for it. We had just remodeled, literally 2 years ago. Bathrooms were just the way we wanted them. Beautiful kitchen appliances. Not in our new place, but in our former place. Everything worked, all the switches exactly where we wanted them, all the lights, all the furnishings, everything was great. We could have said no and then be stuck. Instead, we said yes, knowing all of the stresses that was going to bring. And so we never know when opportunity is going to knock. I think that's maybe why we sound the shofar on Rosh Hashanah, because this is the beginning of an opportunity. The shofar is knocking at your door. Will you say yes? Will you say yes? Even though it means change, even though it means stress, even though it means a lot more work. Believe me, I would have loved to have spent my summer doing something else other than schlepping to Goodwill and Habitat for Humanity, the dumpster, and getting ready for the movers. I would have loved a vacation. My vacation was moving. I lived with boxes. That was my vacation. Would have loved a different type of vacation. But that's the way it goes when opportunity knocks and you decide to step into it. Will we be ready when opportunity knocks for us this year, this week, today, tomorrow? Will we have the courage to say yes? And from spin class, I have learned you have to do it constantly. Constantly. Every time. You've got 3 days a week for me. That's right now. And when I get after the holidays, maybe even 4 to kind of catch up. But you've got to work at it. We can't come to Yom Kippur and expecting Yom Kippur to suddenly make me a better person if I've done nothing all during the year to address those parts of me that I want to change. I have to work at it continuously. And not only 3 days a week, and not only during the worship service, I have to work at it every minute. And this is really hard. This is really hard. We have this with our dog. Every walk is a training walk. I spoke about Mandy last year. Rescued pit bull, personality out the wazoo, incredibly intelligent, absolutely, but terrified of every dog, squirrel, cat, shiny thing, car. And this is a 75-pound scaredy cat that if you're not ready for, will drag you. 75 pounds, very muscular. She's incredibly friendly to human beings. It's all those other things in the world that she's not all right with. And so we have to learn that every walk is a training walk. And we have to train while we walk. And we carry bags of treats so we can train Mandy. Sit. Oh, good girl. Let's go. Oh, leave it. Great words for us, by the way. Those are wonderful words. Those are words we should store right here. Just leave it. Just leave it. You don't need to continue the argument. You don't need to continue the debate. Just leave it. Let it go. And so leave it is Mandy's word. But every time we're walking, we're not enjoying the walk. Well, we are. I do enjoy the walk. But we're not off in la-la land thinking about things. No, I'm looking for, is there a dog? Is there somebody walking a dog? Is there a cat? Is there a squirrel? What might set her off so that I can be prepared, so that she can be prepared. And I tell her, there's a dog coming. It's okay. And feed her a couple snacks and bada bing, bada bang, she's all right. But it takes constant effort. Well, it takes constant effort if we want to be better as well. We have to work at it every single day. Every phone call, every text, every email, every knock on the door, every person we see, our partners, our spouses, our family members, every one of those are all opportunities for us to work on it. But the reward is so much worth it. We know that. We know that because we've been coming to Yom Kippur for years and years and years. You've heard all the sermons about be better. We read the same Ashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu, and all of that every single year. But all of these words and all of the thoughts and all of the great ideas in this day will not do anything for us unless we are willing to take the chance, accept this opportunity for change, and work at it every single day. Then maybe next year we can all have fun on Yom Kippur, because we will have addressed a lot of those things that we had addressed. There's still more to do, but we'll come to Yom Kippur with less clutter in our minds, less boxes stored away in the attic of our brains. And more importantly, maybe we will come a few pounds lighter because we would have shed the guilt and we would have said we're sorry. This is what Yom Kippur is all about. May we open the door to this opportunity. May we continue to work and to do the good work that we are doing. And may we find ways to declutter our minds and to shed some weight in the remainder of this year. Ken yehi ratzonenu, so may it be our will. Our service continues on page 116. As we move to the conclusion of our worship service with the words of the adoration. On page 116, I invite us to rise as we are able. Continue on page 119. May the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when lies and bigotry shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. So may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your dominion be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. On this night of reflection, not only our deeds, but on those who shared our world with us as part of this night as well. We remember all of our departed loved ones. We keep them with us in our hearts and in our memories. And may they continue to inspire us to live in ways that they themselves wish to live. Thus, they are still with us, continuing to help us on our journey of becoming. The words to our Kaddish are on page 122. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam U'Lalmei Almaya Yitbarach V'Yishtabach V'Yitpa'ar V'Yitromam V'Yitnaseh V'Yitadar V'Yitaleh V'Yitalal Shemei D'Kudesha B'Richu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata Tush V'Chata V'Nechamata Da'amiran Be'alma V'Imru. Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah Min Shmaya V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May all of us who mourn and all of us who are bereaved, may we find through God's presence a source of strength, courage, and hope, above all a source of shalom, of peace. And let us all say, Amen. We conclude this evening's service with those final words from our Kaddish. Oseh shalom b'mromav. May the one who made peace in the high heavens give us the strength and the courage to make peace here in this world in our lifetimes. I invite you to put your arms around the shoulder of someone next to you, or hold the hands of someone who needs to remain seated, so that we might create for ourselves a link of shalom to take us into the week ahead.
Shalom b'mromav, u'ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom b'mromav, u'ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen.
Good yontiv to us all. Good yontiv.
Thanks, man. Alrighty then. Awesome. Awesome playing. Awesome playing.